Action.
Hello, my name is Josh Scott. I am the owner and brewmaster of the Moa Brewing Company in Moa Beer, New Zealand. Funny enough, I'm a winemaker by trade. My family has a winery called Alan Scott Family Winemakers, and where I'm the chief winemaker, and that's my day job. Funnily enough though, I've said that twice now, but anyhow, funnily enough, third time, I got into beer brewing because when I was overseas I tasted a lot of beers and I wanted to do something that's a little bit different. There weren't any craft beers in New Zealand and I wanted to make something that was very unique and very upmarket, and to give beer, put beer on a pedestal where it should be. Firstly, I'll start at the location. The brewery is located in Moa Beer, New Zealand, which is very famous for Sauvignon Blanc. We're very famous for wine. The brewery is right across the road from the Alan Scott Family Winemakers, and right in behind quite a well-known winery, Cloudy Bay, which is also quite well-known for Savvy. The name Moa, most of you, especially in the overseas buyers, probably won't know what a moa is. Moa is actually an extinct bird that used to live in New Zealand, was native to New Zealand. Pretty much a dinosaur, and some of them got to 3 meters tall. They're big massive birds like ostriches. And they used to, the Maori, which is our native people, used to hunt them, and they got hunted to extinction at least 150, maybe 200 years ago. And in Marlborough here, this was actually quite a famous area for when the first Maori came, the moa hunters, and they used to chase all the moas into the swamps, which in our vineyards, funnily enough, and because their big feet got stuck in the mud, they were able to spear them easily, and they were quite prized for their feathers, for making coats, and their eggs for carrying water, and for their meat, obviously. The whole philosophy behind Moa is that it's a winemaker's spin on a beer. So we try to accentuate all the hop flavours, all the malt flavours, and you know, just the appreciation and texture and structure of beers, which is quite new in New Zealand, but I understand, especially in the States, the craft brewing there is a long way ahead of what we are here in New Zealand. What makes New Zealand beer so special, especially Moa, is firstly I use a lot of winemaking techniques. I use a lot of wine yeast, especially in the Blanc. I use EC118, which is a yeast we mainly use for Sauvignon Blanc. I use Méthode Traditionnelle, which is making a wine like champagne, where you do the whole riddling and disgorging for the big bottles. Also our hops from New Zealand, they're very famous as well. They're very high in alpha acids. But like our Sauvignon Blanc, which is really herbaceous and green, well, our hops have that same sort of character, which makes them very unique. Also our malt that we source from Canterbury, absolutely fantastic, pristine, which was great growing conditions, no pollution, and also our water that comes from the wider aquifer, which is one of the older aquifers in New Zealand, and very pristine, clean water. We don't have to adjust. So once you start off with those 3 basic raw ingredients, you can make a great beer. So in the States, we only export 3 beers: the Moa Original, the Moa Noir, which is a dark lager. The original was a Pilsner style, and the Moa Blanc, which is the wheat beer. So we're going to taste these 3 beers and we'll do a tasting notes. So the Moa Original, I really like hoppy beers, and the whole thing, just going to open this, the whole thing about hops, the whole thing about hops is getting that really floral herby flavour, and I really like this. So this is based loosely on a German style Pilsner, and I try to accentuate the New Zealand characteristics of it. So we've got these sort of grassy, sort of hoppy sort of characters. So anyhow, yeah, that real hop essence, it's just amazing, and I wish you could smell it, wish we had the smell-o-vision, as they call it. It's just amazing, the hops that are sort of roaring out of the glass. And again, you get those really fresh, crisp hops on the nose, the floralness, and also you get that bitterness. We had quite a few hops very early in the boil to get this really it's quite balanced bitterness, and I love this beer with sort of any sort of spicy food. It doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be Asian or Mexican or anything. Any sort of spicy food, it goes really well with. Yeah, really good beer. Yeah, great aroma. You can almost just smell that all day. So that was our first beer that we brought out. And the next beer that we brought out was our wheat beer. So as you probably know, most beer is made from barley malt, and the Blanc is made predominantly from wheat, which gives us some quite different characters. So I'll just pour this one here out. This one here probably isn't quite cold enough. I couldn't find a cold one in the fridge, believe it or not. So again, we smell this, you get some really Wheat Bixy type characters, which is well, cereal, and I suppose you have Wheat Bix in the States. So really cereal, grainy type characters. There's a little bit of citrus and in there as well. That's mainly from the warmer fermentations and the esters that we get from the fermentation profiles. And the taste, beer's really quite unusual compared to wine. What you smell is really what you get. In wine you usually smell things and the palate is really different, especially with sweetness and dryness. But with beer, what you smell is what you get, so you're getting those really grainy type characters on the palate. You get a little bit of this acidity as well, which really balances beer out really well, and also makes this a very good food match with, I mean I like it with pasta and quite creamy dishes, but traditionally and we drink this, or eat it and drink a lot of seafood, so it matches really well with scallops, abalone, paua, crayfish, your lobster, all those types of dishes. So they're very easy drinking style beer, not overly hot. Mainly, actually I should mention the first beer, the Pilsner. We use a lot of New Zealand B-SARS, which is the most powerful hop, and mainly the Blanc we use mainly Hallertau. So. Then we came to the last beer, which is the Moa Noir. This is we call this a dark lager. It's sort of something we sort of concocted up ourselves. It doesn't really fit into any class. You sort of have to take it as it is and appreciate it as it is. This is one of the most full-on beers in our whole range with complexities of flavours. On the nose, just from the roasted malt, you're getting some chocolate, mocha, toffee, really rich roasted type characters, and just amazing on the nose. And on the palate, you get the same sort of characters on the palate. You almost get if you imagine like a Bordeaux or a Pinot Noir, you get that sort of tannin, that real sort of woody type mouthfeel on your palate, which again is quite amazing. And you're getting a lot of those vanilla-y, toasty, chocolatey type characters. Makes it a very interesting beer on the palate. Interesting enough, I've always sort of got people to have these with sort of gamey quite dishes like venison and rabbit and you know, those sort of really strong tasting meats. But quite a few of the beer and food matching dinners I've been doing around the country in New Zealand, we've actually been matching this with chocolate desserts, and it's been an absolutely perfect match. So try something a little bit different. Try a dark beer, especially Moa Noir, with a chocolate dessert. Just to finish up, we obviously have a few more beers in the range. We have the 5 Hop Winter Ale, which is, yeah, it pretty much explains itself, 5 different hops, 5 different malts. The St. Joseph's Triple, which is a big Belgian style beer, and the Moa Harvest, which is actually a wheat beer with Marlborough cherries infused in it. So very tasty, very summery beer. So beers come in 2 sizes, the 750ml size and the 375ml, and also we do a lot of the bigger formats, like the 1.5 litre, and we also do the 3 litres as well, which I haven't got one here on display. So hopefully this gives you a little taste, a little show of what we do here at the Moa Brewing Company, and I hope you all get out there and try some of our products. Thank you very much.